Chapter 5 The Diagnosis. The Creator of the Universe, Allah Ta'ala, remains clearly committed that kingdom and his Khilafah on earth are only meant for the true Muslimin. The Mu'minin is clear from a following verse. Wa adallahu ladhina amanu minkum wa amilu salihati liyastakhlifannahum fil ard. God has promised to those among you who believe and do righteous deeds that he would surely make them his vice-regents on the earth. Surah 24:55. He's also given assurance that true believers will always dominate over non-believers, and that the non-believers will be left without any friend or ally, as is clear from the following verse. وَلَوْ قَاتَلَكُمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوَلَّوُا الْأَدْبَارَ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُونَ وَلِيًّا وَلَا نَصِيرًا. And if these non-believers had given you battle, they would surely turn on their heels, and they would have found no protector and no helper. Surah 48, ayat 22. Did I say the shadda with the 24:55? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لِيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Moreover, it is Allah Ta'ala's own obligation to grant every help to the true Muslimin, and it is also his promise that such people will always remain superior and honored. This is borne by the following verses. وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And it is our bounden duty to render succor to the true believers. Surah 38:47. وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And do not give way to despair, and do not grieve, and you shall only dominate if you are true believers. Surah 3:839. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And honor is only for God and his messenger and those who believe. Surah 63:8. About the divine declarations. The above divine declarations clearly show that the way to regain honor, greatness, superiority, fame, and virtue of the Muslimin lies only in their having a strong faith. If their relationship with Allah Ta'ala and with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is strong and firm, they are bound to be masters of each and everything on this earth. But if on the other hand it becomes weak, or it gets broken, disaster and decline are bound to follow. The latter part is clear from the following verses. وَالْعَصْرِ. Let the time be witnessed. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Verily man is in great loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Except, of course, those who believe and do righteous deeds, and who enjoin truth and enjoin patience. As already brought out, history provides that the early Muslimin have been able to reach the highest peak of honor and glory, whereas the present-day Muslimin seem to have moved in the opposite direction. It is obvious from the above verses of the Quran that the first Muslimin had attained that high position in life because of the purity and strength of their faith and the excellence of their character. As again this, the miserable condition of the present-day Muslimin is the result of weakness in their faith and character, the opposite of what their forefathers possessed. Therefore, it will be right to say that today we are Muslimin in name only. In this connection, the Messenger of God, the Most High, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had prophesied, Zihatayi ala nas zamanun la yaqa minal islame elasmuhu wala minal qur'ane illa rasmuhu. Meshkat. An error will come in the future when Islam will exist merely in name and the Quran will exist merely in writing. There is clear. This is clearly applicable to Muslimin of the present time. In these circumstances, the points which need urgent investigation are: A. The right type of faith, which can have the approval of God Most High and His Messenger, and which will bring us spiritual and material advancement, is not to be seen anywhere. What will be the means for acquiring that true faith, and what are the factors that have caused the destruction of that faith, and with it the true life of Islam from our midst? A study of the Quran clearly reveals that the capacity to maintain the required level of the true faith of Islam and the ultimate rise to honor and fame through it are dependent on the fulfillment of a special task which has been so graciously assigned by God Most High, God the Exalted, to the Muslimin alone. It is for this that they have been given in the Quran the distinguished position of Khairul Umam, the best of all communities. According to the faith of Islam, the main purpose behind the creation of this world was to establish and prove the holiness, the oneness, and the most supreme existence of Almighty Allah, and to reflect His ultimate power, His unlimited powers and boundless attributions through man, who was to be guided by the light, the true knowledge. It was impossible for man to understand and utilize that knowledge without his first being purified of godlessness and impurity. Only after that purification is he to be decorated with the fine virtues, excellence of conduct, and the eventual capacity set to act righteously. It was for this purpose of bringing about this purity and power in the ranks of mankind that thousands of Anbiya and Rasuls have been deputed by Allah Ta'ala. The last in this series came the Sayyid ul Anbiya wa al Mursaleen. The chief of the exemplar prophets and the sent ones, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was through him that mankind reached the high state of development of mind and body, leading to the final stage of purity. It was then that mankind received glad tidings of Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'amati. And today we had perfected your religion for you and completed our bounty upon you. Surah 5, Ayat 3. The supreme purpose of man's creation has been fulfilled. Good and evil have been clearly defined. A complete system, a practical life has been revealed. The line of the Nubuwah, the exemplar prophets, and apostlehood has been terminated. And lastly, the duties that were formerly discharged exclusively by the Anbiya and the Rasul. That was the plural for the... why had the plural for the one and not the other? Has been given a complete mission to the Ummah Muhammadiyah, the Muslim people. Of course, the term refers to the people that were alive to witness the existence of the mission of the last messenger. So everybody in the past, it's 1442 right now, so it's 1455. Is that the year we're looking for? This fact has been clearly brought out in the following verses of the Quran. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. O you are the noblest of all communities that have been brought out for mankind. You enjoin the good and forbid the evil, and you believe in God. Surah 3, ayat 110. And there has to be a group of people among you who call towards the good. Wal takum minkum ummatun yaduna lal khair wa yamuruna bil ma'ruf wa yanhauna 'anil munkar wa ulaika humul muflihun. And there has to be a group of people among you who call towards the good and bid the fair and forbid the unfair. It is those who are successful. In the first verse, God the Exalted has stated the reason why the Muslimin are called Khair ul Umam, the noblest of all communities. This is because the spreading of good and preventing evil. The second verse has further clarified that only those people shall be supreme in life who fulfill that order. The command does not end here. It is stated in another place that the failure to accomplish that vital task will bring disaster and punishment on its assignees. The reference is taken from the following verse. لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى ابْنِ مَرْيَمَ ذَلِكَ بِمَا عَصَوْا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ كَانُوا لَا يَتَنَاهَوْنَ عن منكر فعلوه لبئس ما كانوا يفعلون. Oh, they should have said verses, but on those who disbelieve from among the children of Israel, a curse was announced by David and Jesus, the son of Mary. All this because they disobeyed and used to cross the limits. They did not forbid each other from evil they committed. Indeed, evil is what they have been doing. Surah 5, 878. Okay, the break of the verse is they did not forbid each other from an evil they committed. Okay. A further explanation and clarification of the above ayah of the Quran can be seen from the following ahadith of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wafi sunani wal musnad min hadith Abdullahi abne Mas'udin qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam inna man kana qablakum kana idha amilu fihim bil qatiyata ja'ahu nahi ta'aziru an faqala ya hadha taqillaha fa'idha kana min al-ghadi jalasahu wa kalahu wa sharabahu ka'annahu lam yarahu ala qatiyatihi bi'amsi falamma ra'ay azza wa jalla dhalika minhum daraba quluba ba'adahum ala ba'adin thumma la'annahum ala lisani nabiyahim Dauda wa Isa ibn Maryama dhalika bima asaw wa kanu ya'tadun waladina nafsun Muhammadin biyadihi latamuruna bil ma'rufi wa la tanhauna anil munkari wa la taquluna ala yadisafihi wa la taquruna alal haqqi atran aw liyadribanallahu quluba ba'dakum ala ba'de thumma yal'anukum kama la'annahum. And we see that narrations like this tell us about the verses, but it's been narrated by Abdullah bin Mas'ud, God be pleased with him, that the messenger of God, divine contact upon him and wholeness, was pleased to say, in previous communities, when somebody committed a sin, other would reprimand him and would say, fear God, but on the following day he would befriend him and mix with him as if he had never seen him committing the sin. And when God saw them behaving thus, he confounded the hearts of some of those, the hearts of some with those of some, and cursed them through the tongues of David and Jesus, the son of Mary. And this is because they rebelled against God and transgressed his limits. And I, Muhammad, swear by him who has control over my soul, you must enjoin the good and forbid the evil, and force the ignorant wrongdoer into the path of righteousness, or else God will confound your hearts and you'll be cursed, as were the peoples gone by. And, there's, of course, limits, as we've discussed, for Wafi Sunane Abi Dauda Wabne Majata an Jarire ibn Abdullahi qala sami'atu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam yaqulu mamin rajulin yakunu fi qawmin tu'amalu fihim bil ma'asi yaqdiruna ala an yughayyiru alayhi wala yughayyiruna illa asaba humallahu bi'iqabin qabla iyamutu. Jarir, God be pleased with him, has narrated that the messenger of God, divine contact upon him and wholeness, said, when an individual of a community sins, And the community, in spite of its authority over him, does not prevent him from sinning. God's punishment descends on them even before death. He subjects them to various punishments in this world. In my country, people rioting the street and people calling it protesting. I mean, there is some protesting going on, but people excusing these people and their actions. Warawal Espahaniyu an Anasin Anna Rasulallahu Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallama Qala La Tazalu La ilaha illallahu tanfa'u man qalaha wa tarudda an humul adhaba wa naqmata malam yastaqifu bihaqqiha qalu ya Rasulullah wa mal istiqfanfu bihaqqiha qala yazharul amalu bima'asi lahe fala yunkaru wala yughayyiru wa targhib. Okay. Targhib is narrated, isn't he? Anas, God be pleased with him, has narrated that the messenger of God, divine contact and wholeness upon him, was pleased to say, the statement, there is no God except God, always benefits individuals who proclaim it and keeps away them from woes and troubles, unless its rights are ignored. The companions inquired, what does this ignoring of the rights mean? The reply of God's apostle was that it means that when sins are being committed openly, they do not prevent or stop them. An ashata alat dakala layan nabiyu sallallahu alayhi wasallam fa'araftu fi wajhe an qad hadarahu shay'un fatawadda wa ma kalama ahadan fala saktu bil hujrata astamu ma yaqulu faqa'ada alal minbari fahamidallaha wa athna alayhi wa qala ya ayyuhal nas innallaha ta'ala yaqulu lakum muru bil ma'rufi wanhaw anil munkari qabla an tad'uwa fala ujiba lakum wa tas'aluni fala u'atiakum wa tansiruni fala ansurakum fama zada alayhinna hatta nazala. A targhib again. Aisha, God be pleased with her, has reported that the exemplar prophet, prayers of God upon him and wholeness, people pray to God and Muhammad gets merit for that, came to me, and I could read from his notable countenance that something extraordinary had happened. He did not utter a single word, but, having performed ablution went straight to the mosque. I too stood by the wall of the mosque to hear what he had to say. The exemplar prophet of God ascended the pulpit, and after the usual exordium said, "O people, God has ordained you to enjoin the good and forbid the evil, lest a time should come when you call it, and he may not respond. You ask for a favor, and he may not grant it. And you call for help, and he may refuse." An Abi Hurairah qala qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam idha rahmat ummati dunya nuzi'at minha hibatul islam wa idha tarakat al-amra bil ma'ruf wa nahya an munkar hurmat barakatal wahi wa idha tasabat ummati saqatat min inallahi kadhafil dure anil hakime Tirmidhi. Abu Hurairah, God be pleased with him, has narrated that God's messenger, divine contact upon him and wholeness, said, "When my community began to attach more importance to the world and to regard it as a source of glory, the awe and importance of Islam, the surrender to God, will vanish from their hearts. And when they give up the practice of enjoining good and forbidding evil, they will be deprived of the blessings of mutual recrimination, and they fall low in the eyes of God."